financial accountants, so if you're not aware. So one of the main reasons that people are promoting a flat tax rate is that they claim that it is unfair the way it is right now, our current system. So one of the things about fair is that it's a relatively, fair is a relative concept. I mean, of course, fair is clearly, it's pretty difficult to get a point that feels fair to everyone along the income spectrum. So, I mean, you can never satisfy anybody, and I don't think the flat tax is really gonna satisfy anybody, because if you think about it, the flat tax is actually unfair. According to Herb Kelly Phillips, the founding shareholder of the Herb Law Firm, who focuses on tax law for businesses and families, a flat tax isn't fair. 10% of income at the bottom is not nearly equal to 10% of income at the top. And the cost of most goods is fixed, meaning that you don't pay proportionally less for milk or for gas if you make less money. So, and also, it's not the tax rate itself that's unfair. One of the things is it's the loopholes and all the deductions and credits that are unfair. Those at the very top may pay less as a percentage of incomes than many taxpayers by simply taking advantage of the existing tax breaks. We get so caught up in the tax rates and the tax brackets that we aren't focusing on what's really creating the problem, the exemptions, the deductions, and the loopholes. And further, if you think about it, according to Lauren Staffs, the Houston Chronicle, while our tax code is complex, it's also flexible. These loopholes that we created, it gives us the flexibility that we need, that gives us the ability to change to the changing economic issues. If you think about it, look at the Constitution, the other legal documents, the Bill of Rights. Ever since they were formed, people have interpreted them in different ways, to meet this situation or the criteria of the current situation. So I think that the loopholes and the deductions and all that make it easy for us, to interpret it for specific situations with the tax or with the flat tax in effect. We would lose the flexibility to adapt to different situations. And also, they mentioned that the flat implementation would take away the real estate. But, so like we said, the real estate sector is an obvious victim under the flat tax. The mortgage interest and property tax deductions if the mortgage interest and property tax deductions are repealed, it will hurt the taxpayers who made investment decisions based on the tax policy in existence since the inception of the federal income in 1913. So like John A. Tassilo, Chief Executive of the National Association of Realtors, along with Orrin T. Bells, the former economist for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, since income tax deductions for mortgage interest and property taxes have been long part of the income tax system, homeowners expect and depend on these deductions to afford their homes. A flat tax that eliminates the mortgage interest and property tax deductions would decrease the cost of owning a home and therefore depress home prices. And according to the same source, owner-occupied housing is the biggest investment made by most Americans. It encourages neighborhood maintenance and socially responsible behavior. Damaging home ownership, indeed, all forms of real estate, is too high of a price to pay for tax reform. And also, the flat tax diminishes the incentives to engage in socially positive behavior such as charitable contributions, etc. According to William G. Gale, the flat tax from the Encyclopedia of Taxation and Tax Policy, removing the deduction for charitable contributions would reduce overall giving and could affect its composition as well. Wealthy donors, for whom the write-off is now worth the most, tend to favor hospitals and universities. Low-income donors, they tend to favor the religious institutions. So if we implemented the flat tax system, it would diminish these incentives to engage in socially positive behavior, which right now our system currently supports. And also, we talked about the IRS. According to Colette L. Meehan, the professional in finance and healthcare, implementing a flat tax system could dismantle the IRS. Many view as of now, many view the IRS as an imposing, intimidating arm of government. However, this institution employs numerous people who are trained to work in the tax industry. The IRS employees would most likely lose their jobs under a flat tax. And finally, the flat tax would shift the burden to the middle class. So according to the studies performed by Ennis and Craig of 1984 and 1990, in Dunbar-Gardner Code of 1998, approximately 70% of all taxpayers would have their tax liability increase, as the majority of the tax burden would shift from the upper 20% of taxpayers to the lower 60%. So thank you.